Ever wondered which countries people just can't stand? We're talking about the ones that spark outrage, dominate headlines for all the wrong reasons, and make people around the world roll their eyes. From governments accused of crushing human rights to nations blamed for global chaos, this list might just light a fire in the comment section. Today on Travel Pug, we're breaking down the top 7 most hated countries in the world, and trust me, the reasons why are going to shock you. Let's get into it. Turkey, the land of stunning landscapes, ancient history, and food so good it could make you cry. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, not everyone thinks so. While Turkey welcomed a jaw-dropping 6.7 million tourists in August 2023 alone, according to Trading Economics, it's also a country that sparks some serious controversy. Why? Let's start with the human rights issues. Turkey's government has been accused of suppressing free speech and cracking down on minorities. In fact, organizations like Amnesty International have repeatedly criticized its treatment of women and LGBTQ+ individuals. And if you're planning a trip, keep your eyes open. Istanbul's bustling streets are notorious for pickpockets. Even its location is a double-edged sword. It's a gateway between Europe and the Middle East, but border areas near Syria and Iraq are labeled as no-go zones. So is Turkey the perfect travel spot or a country to approach with caution? Depends on who you ask. Iran is a country of contradictions. On one hand, you've got a history that goes back thousands of years, beautiful mosques, and the poetry of Rumi. On the other hand, you've got, well, let's just say some not-so-rosy headlines. For starters, Iran's nuclear program has freaked out governments worldwide. In 2022, Medium ranked it the second most hated country, and by 2023, it slid to 7th on Insider Monkey's list. Why the drop? Probably because there's so much else to criticize. Human rights abuses are rampant, with reports of protesters and political activists facing severe crackdowns. According to Human Rights Watch, executions in Iran skyrocketed in recent years. It's a place of jaw-dropping beauty and deep cultural roots. But let's be real, the modern political scene, not so dreamy. Saudi Arabia. Home to the world's biggest oil reserves and some of the strictest laws on the planet. While its futuristic cities like Riyadh and Jeddah are drawing attention, the country is also known for something much darker, its human rights record. In 2023, Medium ranked Saudi Arabia 6th on its most hated countries list, and it's not hard to see why. Women's rights activists, journalists, and even bloggers have been thrown in jail for speaking out. Peaceful protests? Yeah, those can land you in serious trouble. But there's another layer. Saudi Arabia is pouring billions into projects like Neom, a futuristic city in the desert. It's part of their Vision 2030 plan to modernize the country. Still, critics say it's just a shiny cover for an authoritarian regime. Oh, and if you're a tourist, the US issued a Level 3 travel advisory in 2023, warning of possible missile attacks. Fun times. Let's talk about Russia. It's the largest country in the world, packed with cultural gems like Tolstoy, Tchaikovsky, and some seriously impressive architecture. But that's not why it's on this list. Russia is basically the poster child for global controversies. In 2023, Insider Monkey ranked it the 3rd most hated country, largely due to its involvement in conflicts and, you guessed it, alleged election meddling. And we're not just talking about the headlines. Ask people around the world how they feel about Russia, and chances are, you'll get an earful. Domestically, the situation isn't much better. Political opposition is almost non-existent, thanks to crackdowns on dissent. And let's not forget, Russia's foreign policies make plenty of nations uneasy. Still, there's no denying its history and culture are iconic, even if its politics aren't winning any popularity contests. Pakistan is one of those countries that sparks intense debates. It's got breathtaking mountains, ancient ruins, and a rich culture, but its reputation on the global stage, not exactly stellar. In 2022, Medium ranked Pakistan 3rd on its list of most hated countries, citing issues like terrorism and human rights violations. And the criticisms didn't stop there. Its controversial blasphemy laws have drawn international outrage, with minorities often bearing the brunt of the harsh penalties. Add to that nuclear weapons and internal unrest, and you've got a recipe for global mistrust. But here's the kicker. Despite all the negativity, Pakistan remains a land of natural beauty and incredible resilience. It's a complex place, to say the least. The USA, land of the free, home of the brave, and the global expert in making enemies. That's right, America claims the 2nd spot on the most hated countries list. In 2023, Insider Monkey confirmed what a lot of people already suspected. The US doesn't exactly win the global popularity contest. So why all the hate? Well, critics say the US acts like that one neighbor who keeps helping, but somehow makes things worse. From wars in the Middle East to economic sanctions that crush smaller economies, the US is often seen as the world's self-appointed hall monitor, except no one asked for one. And let's not forget the culture wars. Whether it's Hollywood exporting its brand of glitz and drama, or social media platforms owned by American companies shaping global narratives, the US tends to rub people the wrong way. Oh, and the government shutdowns? Nothing screams stability like a country taking regular breaks from functioning. Ah, China, the world's most infamous punching bag. If there's one country everyone loves to blame, it's this one. And let's face it, the whole COVID-19 pandemic put a massive target on its back. From being the alleged ground zero in Wuhan to the way the outbreak was handled, fingers have been pointed at China for basically flipping the world upside down. Cue the conspiracy theories, travel bans, and international outrage. And it doesn't stop there. In 2023, Insider Monkey named China the most hated country on the planet. And honestly, the list of reasons feels endless. Let's talk about the government first, an authoritarian regime that makes even the boldest of dictatorships look tame. Censorship is so intense that you can't even Google freedom in China without getting a blank page and maybe a knock on your door. The infamous Great Firewall blocks everything from social media to foreign news, keeping its citizens in a carefully curated bubble of propaganda. Then there's the surveillance state. China has an estimated 540 million CCTV cameras watching its population. That's one camera for every 2.6 people. Forget about privacy. Critics argue that China's system takes spying to a whole new, dystopian level. Dissidents and whistleblowers vanish faster than a pizza slice at a frat party. And let's not even get started on their controversial social credit system, where your behavior can literally determine your ability to travel or get a loan. Let's not forget the environmental impact. China is the world's biggest polluter, responsible for over 30% of global emissions in 2022. Sure, they've invested in renewable energy, but critics argue it's too little, too late. They're like the person who apologizes after knocking over your drink but never pays for a replacement. So there you have it, the top 7 most hated countries in the world. Did any of these surprise you? Or maybe you think we missed a few? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, or if it made you mad enough to rant, hit that like button and subscribe to Travel Pug. Who knows? We might just tackle the most loved countries next. Until then, see you on the next adventure.